Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Five a Day. 5 minutes of some spiritual breakfast, which I hope will be a real blessing to you, not just today and through the week, but add something to your life and help you develop. Philippians 2:5 says this: you must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had. And that is kind of what Christians should have. We're called to have the same attitude as Christ. And I want to look this week at what we call the Beatitudes. Beatitudes is taken from the Latin translation of the 4th century, the Vulgate, rather than the original Greek, where it would be Macarius or Macarisms. Macarius is the word that we talk about, translated as blessed or happy. And that has kind of deeper meaning. In ancient literature, it's sometimes referred to the state of the gods, and it carried with it the idea of well-being in all aspects, in all areas of life. Well-being is not a new concept. It's not just a 21st century creation, but well-being is a concept that's always been there. And actually, Sermon on the Mount, chapters Matthew 5-7, comes from that place. It comes from a place of teaching to enable us to be well and to have all aspects of our lives and to be who we should be. So it's not a case of putting on something. It's Monday morning. Maybe you've got into your Monday morning work mode. When you finish work, you slip off into another mode. On weekends, you're in another mode. Maybe you go to church. Wonderful, and you slip into a church mode. But this is about being who you are. We might refer to it as a state of grace. It's a state of being. Beatitudes. Remember that? It's being, not, well, this is about doing. This is about, well, how can I kind of fit into that? But actually, Jesus is talking of who we are, what we are, and being. So is it a case of attitudes, of taking on these attitudes, or is it a state of these attitudes come from transformation? And it would seem from the word itself that it's a state of being. Therefore, the attitudes come from transformation within. So they're not attitudes we're putting on. They're not modes of operation. We're kind of used to doing that. We've got our work mode. We've got our mode with our friends. We've got our mode with our partner. We've got our mode with our children. We can have mode with our friends out and about doing sport or whatever it might be. And that's so easily done. But this refers to a state of being. So it can't be contrived. What Jesus is teaching here and speaking to them about, which we're going to look at just the first few verses of Matthew 5 this week, can't be contrived, can't be recreated, can't be bought, certainly can't be put on. Jesus is addressing his followers, and that's a much wider group than you might think it is. It was made up of people who attached themselves to Jesus, and it included, his closest disciples and those who were really committed to follow him. But it also included people on the edge or people on the outside who were watching and observing Jesus, who are not yet, or perhaps never would be, committed followers. John's Gospel makes this clear when he talks about many at one point turning away. They'd followed Jesus, listening, but actually what he was saying was, okay, I don't think we want this anymore. They turned away when challenged to go deeper. And here is this great body of teaching, which we call the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 5-7, which enables us, if we can get hold of it, to actually go deeper and to committed. Now, Matthew 5-7, if you like, is the podcast version of Jesus' teaching, because when you look into it, his teaching ran over 2 or 3 days. Now, it might seem like a long time, but hey, we've all been to conferences that have lasted 2, 3, days or even more where you have back-to-back speakers. Remember once Paul and I going to Kerala, and for 3 days we taught, and people travelled a couple of 100 miles across the hills to Kerala, and they all stayed in one place for 3 days, ate, slept, sat and listened in the one place for 3 days as we were there teaching, because obviously we were flying back after that. The Beatitudes are not a series of 8 bullet points to be successful, okay? Or to create a happy life, but they're 8 sayings that describe the standing and the experience of a true follower of Christ, one who's taken up the cross to follow Jesus. So I want to end with this, Matthew 16:24 to 26, and tomorrow we'll begin to look into Matthew 5, and we're going to have to do it very quickly because we've got 4 sessions of 5 minutes to do them, but let me read you this, leave you with this. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "If any of you wants to be my follower, you must give up your own way, take up your cross and follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you'll lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will save it. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul? Is anything worth more than your soul?" So that's the battle we're about. That's the serious business that we're about. And so I want to encourage you, have a great day. Think about where you are in your commitment to Christ, and join me the next few days and in 20 minutes. I hope to unpack some real powerful things that will help us to grow and develop in our spiritual life. God bless you. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 9 a.m.